I want to talk a little bit about Irish Graves in Battlefield 2042. What his addition as a specialist in the game will look like and kind of adjust the gameplay perspective of 2042.
Welcome to Uplink.
Before we get into the episode, please do consider subscribing and make sure you check out the Battlefield Show. Myself and Sammy Boy talk about Battlefield every Friday on this podcast, so definitely go check it out. A link will be in the description. You can find it wherever you find podcasts and on this channel every Friday. So we got some new details on Irish Graves, and he's looking pretty cool. I'm really excited to see how his character is going to be in the game and what his playstyle is going to be like. But I do have a couple concerns. Let's start off with some of the things I'm concerned about. Irish Graves seems pretty overpowered, honestly. Not gonna lie, he seems pretty beefy. The whole idea around his playstyle is very campy, has kind of a negative connotation, but he's a fortification, honestly. Like, he's a beast. He's going to be able to go into a location and lock it down hardcore, which I think is going to be a great addition to the lineup of specialists that they have, but he is going to definitely be a strong asset to a squad in Battlefield 2042. And I do think he's going to be pretty overpowered at launch. This week's episode of the Battlefield Show, Sammy and I will go a little bit deeper on our thoughts on Irish Graves, some of the ideas that we have around kind of the squads that we want to get set up with, but definitely check that out. I just want to do like an overview of some of my thoughts around Irish Graves here. So if you don't know, these are his abilities that he'll have access to in the game. Fortification system, and includes a DCS, which is a deployable cover to protect from bullets and explosives, and the APS 36 shoot down sentinel to dig down explosive projectiles, things like grenades. Right off the bat, that's massive. He is going to be able to sit down at an objective. If you are an objective player, this is going to be your character. He is going to be able to run up, slam down the point, get into either a building or somewhere around some, he doesn't even have to be by a building. He has his own fortification system. You just got to make sure that you are protected from the rear and you're facing a direction where enemies are coming from with that fortification system. But he's going to be able to sit down, slam that bad boy in, and just take a point like nobody's business. It's going to be crazy to see what that is going to be changing up on the battlefield. I definitely think they're going to launch him pretty overpowered and then lower his effectiveness through a nerf. Honestly, that's how I want it to. I like it when they say, oh yeah, here's a super powerful hero or specialist, whatever, and then they nerf him over time. I think that's a lot more effective than launching a subpar character that not many people are going to play, and people are going to have this, they're going to have a misconception that their character, even if they buff it to be the most powerful, it's still going to have that previous idea that it's a little overpowered or underpowered, and that nobody, you play Irish Graves, come on, he's so weak. Just as an example, if they introduced him pretty weak in the beginning. The other ability I have some concerns about is his special, I'm just going to call it a trait, is called Veteran. Provides armor with additional bonuses from downed enemies. So he's going to have actually improved health than the other specialists, which is a concern of mine, because people, even if they don't use this fortification system, you can utilize Irish Graves to great effect just because of that extra health. And it's not that he has a lower amount of health before he gets buffed with every downed enemy. He has the same amount of health, and it can be boosted through those downed enemies. So right off the bat, that is just one of those abilities is going to make him more effective than the other specialists that they have introduced. Both of them together, it's a recipe for a lot of people playing Irish Graves right off the bat, which, I mean, he's a fan favorite character, so they kind of needed to have him be pretty beefy. But did they need to make him as beefy? I'm not exactly sure on that front. Now, all of that being said, I have some concerns, but also I'm really excited for this character. Those same concerns are something that I'm really excited about. I think his playstyle, it just needs to be adjusted, and it's right up my alley. I love playing defensive characters. In Apex, my main is Gibraltar. In basically pretty much any other game, I really like playing a defensive character, one that can go after the objective and can take some hits and be able to kind of thwart other people's strategies. And I also hate getting taken out by grenades, like with a burning passion. So the fact that he's going to be able to place down the Sentinel droid that's going to destroy grenades as they come at it, I mean, it's speaking my language. So all the things that I'm really concerned about, I'm also excited about on the other hand. I just think from a balance perspective, they need to be adjusted. Otherwise, everyone's going to be playing Irish Graves no matter what their playstyle is. I think just the abilities that he has are going to be so overpowered and so suited to many different playstyles. And because of how the specialist system works in Battlefield 2042, you can create, basically, you have the foundations of these specialists, and then you can customize your loadout. So, hey, you want to be a sniper support character that is a medic? Boom, you got this. If you want that loadout, pick Maria Falk. Like that's the go-to. But also, on the other hand, many people in the past would play as a medic support character just so they could have access to the weapons, and they're overcoming that idea. So let's just say you want to be a support sniper. Boom, you can do it. Click this specialist, change up your loadout this way, you've got it. If you want to be kind of like a stealthy but explosive shotgun user, boom, you can do it. And that's what I love about the specialist system. I just have concerns about how well they're going to be able to customize and balance everything against each other. Because that's going to be a concern. Instead of the 4 classes that they have to balance against each other, they have 10 plus specialists that they're going to have in the game. So that's my personal concern in it. Am I excited to see this kind of change? Yes. But I'm also concerned about kind of the need for these changes. Like, why do we need to have a revamped system versus the go-to tried and true method of the class system? Why do we need that change? Nobody was really asking for it. They're just trying to change it up a bit. And I think that may be one of the biggest choking points for the game. But I think overall it's going to be really cool. I personally love the fact that I can choose my loadout no matter what specialist I use. I'm going to love that because there are some classes. I would love to be a support and snipe. Honestly, that's my go-to kind of style. But it's not always feasible in Battlefield games because of the class system. So I think there's bonuses and disadvantages to it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how well they implement it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm really interested in everybody else's topic. I'm relatively new to the Battlefield series. Introduced in Battlefield 1 is kind of like my go-to. Obviously, I played some of the older games. 1943 was one that I played a bunch of, but I would love to hear your thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts on what's going to be introduced. If you're new to the game or a veteran to Battlefield, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear it. But with that, thank you all so much for watching this video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. We'll check you out in the next video. As always, I'll see you on the battlefield.